me to the ground. Despite the way the camera rolls, it leaves me nearly down. It feels so real. It can be a little off. I don't know how I'm gonna say the way I feel when you're around. In all the world's a stage. In all the world's a stage.
Hey, welcome to Raw Urban Sessions. I'm your host, Ash, and we are here with Plastiq Passion. Thank you so much for coming on to the show and for sharing your music with us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Of course. I wanted to get into your song that you just played called Monster Stomp. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Songs about monsters.
A song about monsters? No.
That's a good question.
I think we got the name because it sounded so loud when we played it, but you know.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was you that named it, Chris. You were just like, it sounds like a monster sound.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was the name.
When we came up with it, it was just kind of a open the door type of sound. So.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like, it definitely projects in that way and, like, kind of encompasses you, takes you in, and, like, makes you want to rage out a little bit in a good way, you know, dancing around and stuff. It's really cool. So where did you guys get your name for your band? Where did that come
It's actually the title of a Cure song, Plastiq Passion. It's off the first, I think it's the first album. I think it's Imaginary, Three Imaginary Boys, I think the first album is. But it's on the first album.
I always wondered why we never covered that song.
We did one
It
time.
would
We
be
did cover
too
it.
on the nose. Yeah.
And what about that song made you want to pull that in as your band name?
Well, I think when the band first got together, it was me and Katrina, and we both really loved The Cure. So then we didn't know what to call the band, so we took a bunch of Cure songs, the titles, and put them in a hat, and that was the first one we picked, and we were like, let's just go with Plastiq Passion. But then we had to change the C to a Q, because there was already a band called Plastiq Passion
In the UK.
in the UK.
I think
But that's
the
how we
cue is
got the
really
name.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when did you guys start together?
Different time.
Yeah, different times. It's been a journey. There's been a few iterations of the band. Jess has been always the mainstay. And then Deb, you're the next. How did you join?
Oh, I found them on Craigslist. Like, yeah, I was like, oh, they use guitars?
It worked out.
Yeah, it really did work out.
That's
My
cool.
longest standing relationship.
For me, it was literally, I was in another band called Virgo Loves Cancer, and we had played a couple shows with Plastiq Passion. And this was ages ago, in 2008, so we were friends on MySpace at the time. And
Yep.
out of the blue, Jess messaged me saying, like, hey, we're about to go on tour cross country, and our drummer just quit. Could you fill in for the tour? And I was, what I was 21 years old or 22 years old, and I was just like, yeah, you know what? Let's do it. And I only knew Jess from playing shows with her twice and didn't know anybody else in the band, and just kind of like went with it, just decided to go on tour with a whole bunch of strangers, and it was the best. So
So naive.
yeah. And then I never looked back. I was supposed to only be the drummer for that tour, and that was it. And here we are, however many years later, still going.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Take a chance on us.
And can we get everyone's name? I know I asked you before, I'm like, and I remember each of your signs, but I am really bad with names. But I can do roll call on your signs. You know? So if you want to let us know each of your names. If you want, you can share your signs if you want to, but you know, you can keep that to yourself as well.
Jessica Chaos.
Stacy Lee.
I'm Deb. I'm a Scorpio.
Christine, Aquarius.
Let's get into their next song.
So what you waiting for? You know you're running out of time. You got a long way to go. Oh, but you never give it up. Don't be so tragic. Oh, don't you be irresponsible. Don't be so tragic. Oh, don't you be irresponsible. Oh, just like me. So what you looking for? In the middle of the night. You're looking tired and lost. Oh, but you never give it up. Don't be so tragic. Oh, don't you be irresponsible. Don't be so tragic. Oh, don't you be irresponsible. Oh, just like me. Oh, just like me. Oh, just like me. Oh, just like me. Woo! Oh, don't you be. Oh, don't you be. Oh, don't you be. Oh, don't you. Oh, don't you. Oh, don't you be. Oh, don't you be. Oh, just like me.
Welcome back. So we just got into your song, Tragic Just Like Me. Could you get into how that came about, the name and the intention behind it?
The name actually came from our pal Rich Russo, who is a DJ for 1019 RXP. RIP that station because it was so great. But he was a real champion of our band and music for a while, and originally that song was just called Irresponsible. And he was like, no, this is the song. That was his favorite song. He was like, this is what we're going to name it. It's going to be Tragic, parentheses, Just Like Me. And we were like, all right, Rich.
All right, sure, yeah. As long as you play it. If you're going to play it on your station, sure. You can call it whatever you want.
That's really cool. That's really awesome that, you know, you guys let somebody interact with you and like inspire a name title like that, and to be open to that and to have it be a fit is really cool, because I feel like it is a fit with the sound and the energy of that song, so it's really cool.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a name that we wouldn't have thought of ourselves.
No, probably not.
It's awesome, like sharing our art with other people and like seeing the feedback and see how like what we project out can sometimes get reflected back in a way that resonates with us, but that we wouldn't have necessarily thought of. So it's like, I think it's important as creatives to like share those processes. Sometimes you don't share them, you know, sometimes you have to keep them to yourself for certain reasons, but other times when it feels good to like share those and like see where it resonates. It's cool.
Yeah, I think because we trusted him. We trust him, and he seems like he had good intentions, and like he wanted like the best for us, so we trust him.
That's amazing. Shout out to him.
Yeah. Hi, Rich Russo. You're watching.
So how did you guys discover your instruments or choose your instruments, either particularly as an instrument or also like particularly your instruments that you have? So a little bit of both.
You mean why we started playing, or?
Like what brought you to it? So like what made you get drawn to a guitar rather than a bass, or like how did you
Well,
find your passion for it?
I was drawn to the drums, but my dad was like, nah, you're not getting a giant drum set. So it was compromise for me. I'm like, okay, how about electric guitar? He's like, all right, fine. So compromise.
I mean, it worked out. You're great. Like you're incredible, and your clear guitar is like fire.
Thanks.
For me, it was actually 4th grade. I got into the school band, and we had to take a test to get into the band, and I passed. I got in, and then we had to each write down 3 instruments that we wanted to potentially play. And my number 1 was actually trumpet, and I think my second was like maybe trombone, and my third was drums. But I had really crooked teeth as a kid. And I walked up to the music teacher, handed him my paper of the list of instruments I wanted to play. He was like, trumpet, let me see your teeth. And I smiled, and he was like, drums.
Wow.
But it was like the universe like telling me the path I should take, because like if I had gone with trumpet, would I still be playing trumpet right now? Probably not, you know? And then I just begged my parents for a drum set for years and years and years, and I finally got one when I was 16, and I never looked back.
It's really cool.
I started with the drums too, and I played in the school band, Port Richmond High School, shout out, jazz band. But they had too many drummers, so I wasn't gonna get to play on stage. So they're like, we need a bassist, and the bassist could play on every song on stage. So I lied and said I could play the bass, and I've been lying ever since.
I started playing the guitar because my brother played the guitar. Like one day I walked into the room and he was playing a Nirvana song, I think "Come As You Are," and I was like, "Wow, you sound just like him playing." And he was like, "Yeah, I'm going over these chords." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, so like you're playing exactly like him?" He's like, "Yeah, because he showed me like the tabs," and I was like, "Oh, so it's like a map, like to play the guitar." And he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh, I want to do that." And he's left-handed, so I think that's why I'm left-handed playing the guitar. And then after that, I just never stopped playing the guitar.
So you're normally right. You're
Yeah.
more right dominant, but
Yeah.
you play the guitar lefty. That's
Well,
I did not know that.
No, she's ambidextrous.
I write with both
Okay.
hands,
Yeah.
but I do
Yeah,
a lot of things with both my hands. But like, if you really want, like, I guess in kindergarten, yeah, I do. I started with my right hand, but yeah, that's all right.
That's really cool.
My brother.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for sharing. Let's get into some more music.
Okay. One, two, we love you. This and that, but more of this. But all I really wanted was those simple things. Oh, those simple things.
we're back. Could you tell us about your creative process of how you come up with your songs and your names? Like, what does that look like? You hear something, get inspired by something, one of you, all of you, like, how do you connect it where you're all synchronistic with one another in that process? What does that look like for you guys?
All or most of our songs have been written all together. Usually it starts off with like a jam, or like somebody will show up to practice and just say like, oh, I came up with this like little riff, and we'll just start jamming on it, and it turns into a song. So it's really, there's no one person that's like, here's a song I wrote and here's what you're playing and here's what you're playing. It's really just fully collaborative, where we're each writing our own parts and creating the song together in real time. And I feel like it's different from the way a lot of bands operate, and I really like it for us, and it feels right. Like, because we're all coming from such different backgrounds and with different musical interests. Like, none of us listen to the same music, really. And so, like, we're all bringing something different to the table, and it just, like, melds together and to create our sound, which is, like, its own thing.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
Like that's why I especially wanted to ask you this question in a minute in the song that you guys just played. You know, there's just a moment where I was looking at each of you individually, and then I like zoomed out and looked at you collectively, and it's like, wow, like you all have this part in this where it feels very balanced. Like it felt very evenly distributed. Like you all had a part of like the creation process. I feel like sometimes when someone is taking the bulk of that creation process, you can kind of see it on them because it's like emanating from them. You almost see like the other people or in the band kind of like, you know, they're there and it's like still synchronistic, but it just feels different. It felt like it just like evenly with each of you. It was really cool. Really, really cool to watch.
Yeah, it always feels like not a machine, but like I remember one time I remember I was testing out not playing the guitar and just singing.
That was weird.
But it felt so weird for me because I wanted to be a part of this. Like everyone was playing, I'm just there with the microphone, which is not to say it's not good to just not play and just sing, but I want to be a part of, like, I want to play the guitar and be a part of this sound. So I hear what you're saying. It's like this machine that's kind of like
It's a big sound puzzle, and then
Yeah.
you're looking at the puzzle and you say, oh, I can fit this in right here. But in the 10 plus years I've played with you guys, not once has anyone said, you should play that.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
would be
really,
weird.
We
yeah,
just
there's
all
no
do our own
like,
thing. No one
there's
tells
no
anybody
ego
what to
in
do.
this band. I feel like, yeah, we're all like happy to each contribute our thing, and like, in a minute that was Chris. She came into practice one day and was like, I have this cool bass line, and that's what starts off the song is that bass line, and that's really how that song started. She played that, and we all just went with it.
We're like, what can you do with that?
Yeah, and then we all just kind of jumped
I
in.
got a ditty.
Especially as bass, which is like an instrument that tends to be the support, you know, for you to come in and like intro and like create the bass line literally, and like the grounded, you brought it in for everyone to build upon it. So that's like it's really cool.
Yeah, try.
I think you're right. I think it's just building upon. Somebody brings something, you kind of build, and then there's the song.
Yeah, well, you guys do a great job at it. I feel like if I closed my eyes, like, or had something to read vibration, like, it would just be equal coming from, like, each of you. Just did a really great job keeping that balance.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Of course. And for their last song, Plastiq Passion will be performing Dance Song. And we're back again. And I know before you guys were saying how you all have different music interests. And could you explain what your influences are in your music, each individually, maybe collectively as well?
You first.
Everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything. You can ask me tomorrow, yesterday, the completely different answers. I listen to all across the board. Just recently, I guess starting to get into country, which I never thought I would.
Wow.
Never thought I'd get there. But yeah. Only because I found out they had a queer, they have a queer little scene. I'm like, let me see what that's about.
They have a queer pocket?
Yeah, they
This
do.
is good to know.
Right?
Yeah.
You
This
see?
is- I have never,
Now
I would
you're
have never,
intrigued.
I would have never known.
Ah, there we go.
Maybe I'll start listening to country now.
Stay tuned for Plastiq Passion's new country album.
Heard it here first.
Your country. Mine is The Cure. I've always loved The Cure. I'm very influenced by The Cure.
I've
That's it.
always
I only
been-
listen to The Cure.
Yeah, that's it. Not
Only
even a
thing I
genre.
listen to is The Cure. No.
Well,
And
they have a lot
Nirvana.
of music.
And Hole. I'm dating myself.
So grim.
So grim.
I've always been more like punk rock than anything else, and like Riot Girl, like Slater Kinney would be my favorite band of all time.
I love like the OCs or Primus or Chili Peppers. Classic.
That's awesome.
Or heavy metal. You know, it's the same like with Deb. It's hard to pick a thing, but I guess those would be the top 3 that I gain influence or want to be like.
I get you, like, on the spot sometimes, like, you know, maybe tomorrow in 2 days you could be like, oh, I could have said that, but, you know.
I'm gonna
sure
watch
whatever's
this and I'm
like-
gonna hate this answer. Why did I say that?
Yeah, you know,
I
your,
have a
your son is going to be mad at you for not saying the Doors.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Doors. Hi, Jack. Hi, Emma.
And what is your favorite part about performing your music?
I think it's, for me, I think it's looking at people's faces. They always look like little kids. Like, they're just like, and I don't know why I like that. It's kind of like they look really happy. So I like that.
I'm opposite. I never look up.
You don't.
I stay looking down the whole time, like I'm in my own world. I just like, you know, having fun and just like getting that energy out and just like rocking out and putting on a good show. That's what I like to do.
It's also the togetherness. I'm looking
I
out
was
at the
gonna say.
people. I feel like we're all really together, which is so nice.
I like being together with you guys. Like, that's honestly what I do it for, and I don't want to give it up because like when you play together and you sync up with people, then you know
We're like family.
Right, especially when you've been a band as long as we have. Like we really all like really know each other, really understand each other. We know what we each need and want, and it's like,
Oh man, I can predict where you guys are going musically. I'm like, at this point, yeah. You know.
I forgot who said it. I think it was Carrie Brownstein that once said that playing a show is like you have this ball, like it's on top of us while we're playing, like before we play. And then once we start playing, this ball starts to spin. And then it starts to get lighter and it gets so vibrant and everyone is just loving like this light. And then once you stop playing, it goes out. So it just seems so like precious at that moment that it's spinning and it's bright. That's how it feels like when we play, I think. It's like something is like being creating and it's happening and you feel it and I feel it, we all feel it. And so we're kind of in it like together for those
For the
I don't know,
moment.
30, 40 minutes. We're just in it together, which is so much fun.
It's really cool.
It is, right?
And where can we find you guys on social media, any upcoming shows, or any streaming platforms?
Spotify.
All of the
I
platforms.
think we're on all of them.
Yeah.
You name
You
it.
can find us
we're on
anywhere.
it.
Spotify, iTunes,
YouTube.
Bandcamp,
Instagram.
the Gram, Facebook, Twitter,
MySpace.
Not so much Twitter.
MySpace for sure.
Yeah.
We're playing Jersey Pride August 26th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jersey
There you
Pride.
go. Where in Jersey?
I don't know what time yet, but in Jersey City.
Okay.
Jersey City Pride,
I gotta put that in my calendar.
August 26th.
I'm your host, Ash, and this was Raw Urban Sessions. See you next time.